Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Radha Madhav Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Madhav Jaya Kuranitai Mayapur Sasi Jaya Kuranitai Jaya Mayapur Sasi Jaya 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 Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Shri Prabhupada ki jai Nandakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai Hare Krishna. So we'll read from our family business. After extensive correspondence between Brahmananda and Doi Nipun, Srila Prabhupada finally contracted with Doi Nipun to print his TLC as well as BTZ. As per his plan, he asked each ISKCON center to submit a fixed amount of money to the BTG printing fund. In return, the temples receives a proportionate number of BTGs, which they could give away or sell as they wished. Brahmananda was responsible for getting the money of each temple and paying the Nipun each month. The cost $3,000 for 20,000 BTGs. This continued throughout 1969. Even after Srila Prabhupada signed with Dai Nipun, though, he continued to think about how to set up an ISKCON press in order to print less expensively and more efficiently. It didn't take long for him to become slightly disenchanted with Dai Nipun, because they took longer than promised to deliver the TLC. On March, okay, we'll stop here anyway. Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudhiratai Nashtapraya Sutrishu Nityam Bhagavate Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishti Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namaha Pankajanaභaya Namaha Pankajamaline Namaha Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangrehe Roti Vachalam Lumlangam Yate Gritat Yat Kripatamaham Bande Paramanand Madhavam. So we are reading from Canto 7, chapter 5, and text 5. Yes, bro? Text 5. It's got a wrong marking here. Question to 1. Yeah, yeah. That's what I was thinking. Yes. Yeah. Canto 7, chapter 5, text 5. Sri Prahlad तत्साधु मन्येष्ववर्यदेहिनां सदा समुद्विग्नदीयां यत्ग्रहात् हेत्वात्मपातं गृहमन्धकूपम् वनं गतो यद्धरिणं वनं गतो यद्धरिणीम् आश्रयेत श्रीप्रह्लाद उवाच तत्साधु मन्येष्ववर्यदेहिनां सदा समुद्विग्नदीयाम् असत्सग्रहात् हित हित हितात्मपातं गृहान्धकूपम् वनं गतो याधरीम् अश्रयेत श्रीप्रह्लाद उवाच तत्साधु मन्ये सुरवर्यदेहिनां सदा समुद्विग्नधीयमशत्कनात् हित्वात्मपातं गृहम् अन्धकूपम् वनं गतो धरिणीम् अश्रयेत प्रह्लाद उवाच तत्साधु मन्ये सुरवर्यदेहिनां सदा समुद्विग्नधीयमशत्ग्रहात् हित्वात्मपातं गृहान्धकूपम् वनं गतो यद्धरिणीमाश्रयेत श्रीप्रह्लाद उवाच तत्साधु मन्ये सुरवर्यदेहिनां सदा समुद्विग्नधीयम् अशत्ग्रहात् प्रह्लाद उवाच तत्साधु मन्ये सुरवर्यदेहिनां हित्वात्मपातं गृहमन्धकूपम् वनं गतो यद्धरिणीमाश्रयेत श्रीप्रह्लाद उवाच साधु मन्ये सुरवर्यदेहिनां सदा समुद्विग्नधीयम् असद्ग्रहात् Itatmapatam gramandhakupam nanamgato yadrimashayeta. Shri Prahlad Vacha. Prahlad Maharaj replied, Tat, that, sadhu, very good, or the best part of life. Manye, I think, Ashura Varya, O king of the Asuras, Dehinam, of persons who have accepted the metal body, Sada, always, Samukdvigina, full of anxieties, Dhiyam, whose intelligence, Ashadgrahat, because of accepting the temporary body or bodily relationship as real, thinking, I am the body and everything belongs to this body is mine. Hitva, giving up. Atma Patam, the place where spiritual culture or self-realization is stopped. Graham, the bodily concept of life or household life. Andakupam, which is nothing but a blind well, where there is no water, one nonetheless searches for water. Vanam, to the forest. Gata, going. Yep, which. Harim, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ashrayata, made a shelter of. Translation. Prahlad Maharaj replied, O best of the Asuras, king of the demons, as far as I have learned from my spiritual master, any person who has accepted a temporary body and temporary household life is certainly embarrassed by anxiety because of having fallen in a dark well where there is no water but only suffering. One should give up this position and go to the forest. Clearly, one should go to Vrindavan where only Krishna consciousness is prevalent and should thus take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport of Prabhupada ki jai. Hiranyakashipu thought that Prahlad, being nothing but a small boy with no experience, might reply with something pleasing but nothing practical. Prahlad Maharaj, however, being an exalted devotee, had acquired all the qualities of education. यस्यास्ति भक्तिर्भगवते अकिंचना सर्वैर्गुणैस्तत्र समासते सुरा हराव भक्तस्य कुतो महद्गुणा मनोरथेन मनोरथेन सति धावतो बहि. One who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna consistently manifests all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods. However, he who has no devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no good qualification because he is engaged by mental concussion in mental existence, which is the external feature of the Lord. Bhagavatam 5:18-12. So-called educated philosophers and scientists who are simply on the mental platform cannot distinguish between what is actually Sat, eternal, and what is Asat, temporary. The Vedic essence is Asato Ma Jyotirgama. Everyone should give up the platform of temporary existence and approach the eternal platform. The soul is eternal, and the topics concerning the eternal soul are actually knowledge. Elsewhere, it is said, Apashyata Atma Tattvam Griheshu Grahmedinam. Those who are attached to the bodily conception of life and who thus stick to life as a grahastha or householder on the platform of material sense enjoyment cannot see the welfare of the eternal soul. Prahlad Maharaj confirmed this by saying that if one wants success in life, he should immediately understand from the right source what he is seeking interest is and how he should mold his life in spiritual consciousness. One should understand himself to be a part and parcel of Krishna, and thus completely take center of his lotus feet for guaranteed spiritual success. Everyone in the material world is in that bodily conception, struggling hard for existence, life after life. Prahlad Maharaj therefore recommended that to stop this material condition of repeated birth and death, one should go to the forest Varna. In the Varnashram system, one first becomes a brahmachari, then a grahastha, a vanaprastha, and finally a sannyasi. Going to the forest means accepting vanaprastha life, which is between grahastha life and sannyasa. As come in Vishnu Purana 389, Varnas, Varnasrama Machare Charavata Purushena Parapuman Vishnu Aradhyate. By accepting the institutions of Varna and Ashram, one can very easily elevate himself to the platform of worshiping Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of God. Otherwise, if one remains in the bodily conception, one must rot within the material world, and his life will be failure. Society must have divisions of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. And for spiritual advancement, one must gradually develop a brahmachari. uh, One must develop as a brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasi. Prahlad Maharaj recommended that his father accept vanaprastha life because as a grahastha, he was becoming increasingly demonic due to bodily attachment. Prahlad recommended to his father that accepting vanaprastha life would be better than going deeper and deeper into graham andakupam, the blind well of life as a grahastha. In our Krishna conscious movement, we therefore invite all the elderly persons of the world to come to Vrindavan and stay there in entire life, making advancement in spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshu Unmilitamena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Sopadantikam. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपीश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Please repeat. Prahlad Maharaj replied, O best of the Suras, king of the demons, as far as I have learned from my spiritual master, any person who has accepted a temporary body and temporary household life is certainly embarrassed by anxiety because of having fallen in the dark well where there is no water but only suffering. One should give up this position and go to forest, Vana. More clearly, one should go to Vrindavan, where only Krishna consciousness is prevalent, and should just take shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Wow. So here, what's happening is Prahlad Maharaj, though 5 years old, generally here we go to nursery and then primary one, then higher. So here Prahlad Maharaj being sent to Gurukul, though teaching him the nature, how to uh, how to live the life, how to be envious of the Lord. Uh, this is the first meeting of Prahlad Maharaj with Hiranyakashipu after schooling. So It's normal, isn't it? It's normal when a child comes from school, so we ask, what did you learn today? What was fun today in the schools? And that's how he asked very questions. He says, oh, Prahlad, let me know, what have you been learning in school? And in a very nice, affectionate way, he put Prahlad Maharaj on his lap and asked this question very affectionately, thinking that he might not be knowing a very practical thing. He's still a 5 years old child, and very easy questions. However, Prahlad Maharaj replied him something amazingly. He was not expecting the answer from Prahlad Maharaj. And he says, "O best of Asuras." So first of all, he is glorifying his father, saying, "O best of Asuras," the demon. In this world, if people are demon, and if you ask them, "Oh, great demon," then they will become angry on you, isn't it? They won't appreciate who they are. But earlier, they used to appreciate that, yes, we are demons. We are kind of, uh, envious towards Vishnu. We fight with them. We don't practice Krishna consciousness, and they used to become proud of that. Now, if you say someone you are demon, you are inviting a fight with them anyway, right? So here, and then Prahlad Maharaj making a very, very interesting point here. He said that as far as I have learned from my spiritual master, what it means. So he is establishing a parampara. He is not just going answering the questions of his father, but explaining what he has learned. He is explaining what he has learned from the parampara. That's very, very important. Prabhupada always says we should learn from parampara. Otherwise, it's like a milk touched by a serpent. So parampara is very, very essential in our learning. And then he says that any person who has accepted temporary body and temporary household life is certainly embarrassed by anxiety. So it means what? Anyone in this material world having material body, they must go through this anxiety. What anxiety? Anxiety of I and mind. How to maintain everything. And then he continues that they will fall in the dark well, and where there is no water. We'll discuss more on those parts again and again. But the point Prahlad Maharaj is making is that in this material world, there is always suffering. Dukhalayam Shashvatam, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita as well. There is no going out. Right. However, he says that the solution is that one should give up this position and go to the forest. One should give the position of I and mine, and he should go to forest for what? Prabhupada explained actually in the last couple of lines, saying that more clearly one should go to Vrindavan and practice Krishna consciousness. That's the essence. So Hiranyakashipu was not expecting this answer from Prahlad Maharaj on the very high level, and that too anti. He wanted to hear something about political or maybe something what is being taught in the schools, but now he's saying something which Hiranyakashipu don't want to hear at all, because Prahlad Maharaj is saying about Krishna, about Vishnu, and he's saying you should go, give up your kingdom and go to the forest. Why? Because you are having too much attachment towards the kingdom, and moreover is enemies of the Lord. So this is the real condition of every one of us in this material world, where we see that the conditioned souls are always in anxiety. Even if we get something, still we are in anxiety. I was just watching a news couple of days back from India. Nice point. There's been said the people there actually they went for Christmas and New Year celebration, and there were huge traffic. I mean, they're stuck with their family in a car for 4 to 5 hours, and it's like crawling, the car are crawling. And then there's a news reporter, they asked him, so how do you feel over here? They say, yeah, it's okay because we have came here to enjoy. So it's something is okay. We'll end up to distance and then we'll enjoy it. So 5 hours of suffering, they're not saying that 5 hours suffering. How they're suffering, and the kids are there, they're all hungry, and then still the car is not moving at all. But still, what they're saying that, yeah, this happens, it's okay, it's okay because anyway we'll enjoy this thing. That's the problem. we don't recognize miseries, isn't it? That's the anxiety and then the miseries we are getting in the life every now and then. But they're all okay, it's fine, because we have came from a long journey. So still 5 hours is okay to wait on a, on a one place, right? Suffering like that. So that's why they are enjoying it. So that's what Prahlad Maharaj is saying, that this is under Kupam, where as a well, generally if you see in the villages, so there are some wells when they get, there's no water, and no one goes to the well to take out the water. So there is no water. So what happens? There the grass comes out, and people might not know that okay, there's a well, and unknown persons they get fell in the in the well, and even they can't get out of that because there is no water at all, and people are no people are around there. Even this out, the people they cannot be escaped from there. So this is material world is like that. It is like the dark well where we go, and it goes more deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. There is no escape until and unless we take shelter of the Lord. That's what Maharaj is saying very lastly. He's saying you should go to forest and take shelter, which is really really anti to Hiranyakashipu. He said no, I can't. And then we'll discuss more in the following chapters where Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu they start having discussion about what's happening over there. Where are we getting those knowledges? But this pastime is happening is like Jai Vijay. They were in Vaikuntha, being a god, and then we know that they have been cursed by Chatush Kumara. Four Kumara cursed. You, how envious you are stopping us to meet the Lord. So you should go back to material world. At the same time, it's been described that Prahlad Maharaj, in his previous life, was also a doorkeeper. He is called Sumukha doorkeeper. So he was doorkeeper in Vaikuntha Loka as well. And these two, Jai Vijay, they were also doorkeeper. They were a life of demons. That's Krishna's plan. And he wanted to have a fight. And this Prahlad Maharaj, in his previous life, what he did was, Devatas, when they went to see Lord, he stopped Devatas and said that please, I request you, please wait for some time. Let I get permission from Krishna and then you can go in. So he asked them to wait for some time. And what Jai Vijay did, they stopped. They said, no, you can't go anymore. So action was same in one sense. They both, Jai Vijay and Prahlad Maharaj, they both wanted to, Jai Vijay and Sumukha, they both wanted to stop Chitush Kumar and Devatas to enter to see Lord in Vaikuntha. However, the action got in a different way. Jai Vijay stopped them, and Prahlad Maharaj requested them to stop. Please wait. I'll get permission. We can go ahead. And then when Lord saw it, when he came, what he said that okay, Prahlad, you need to go to material world because you have my devotee to see me. But however, you have done in a very pleasing way, nice way. What will happen is you become a devotee of me. Though Jai Vijay are also devotee of the Lord, but Prahlad Maharaj got a boon that you will become a devotee of me. And when Jai Vijay, and then when Hiranyakashipu went for tapasya to take a revenge of his brother Hinaksha, at that time we know that all the Devata they attacked the kingdom of Hiranyakashipu, and then they kidnapped Hiranyakashipu's wives. And then Narada Muni came. He says, no, you should not kill him. Devata says, no, we will wait for her to deliver the child and then we will kill him. Narada Muni says, you can't kill him because he is a devotee of the Lord. And Narada Muni knew it very well. So Narada Muni took Khayadu, and Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb, and then he started teaching this Bhagavat Dharma to Prahlad Maharaj. And Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb and he was learning everything. So the teaching comes here that the learning or the Krishna consciousness begins in the womb. And though Hiranyakashipu was not aware of these things. He was thinking from where he is learning these things. He is learning about Vishnu. He is learning about Krishna consciousness, and Vishnu is my enemy. He should learn about being envious to Vishnu so that he can rule the kingdom as I wanted. So generally, what happens? Each man he wants his children to be rich, have to suffer. Indeed. Though a poor man wants my child to become rich, but a rich man wants, yes, my child to become rich and he should not suffer. Similarly, Hiranyakashipu, he wanted that my child, Prahlad, when he grows up, when I retire, he should rule the kingdom as I wished and as I am doing. However, now is the Prahlad Maharaj is completely opposite. He has become a dear devotee of the Lord just by hearing from Narad Muni. And by hearing this, Hiranyakashipu has become more envious towards Prahlad Maharaj now. And then that past goes more here. Then the point comes here, Prabhupada explaining in the purport that this material world is a dark well, and where there is no water. In the well, there is no water, but still people are trying to enjoy, people are trying to get the water out of it, where there is no water. Shri Shri Brahma Posasi Ki. So that he talks about successful life. So what is successful life is? The successful life of a materialistic person is fulfilling fulfilling their desires, especially the four: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. These are the four things generally all the people they try to fulfill, right? Isn't it? And if you could fulfill fulfill all these four nicely, then you can consider yourself a successful person. But there is something much more higher than that, isn't it? But we don't know that something higher is still there. It's not just about eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. And our Shastra says that eating, mating, sleeping, and defending are actually common between animals as well as human beings. But if there is no inquisitiveness to inquire about the Lord, then we are just a sophisticated animal, nothing more than that. Prabhupada explains this point that we are just a sophisticated animal. So unless and until we take shelter of the Lord and try to get out of this cycle of eating, mating, defending, and sleeping, we'll still remain in this world. And it goes on and on and on and on. Krishna says, Abrahma bhuna loka punavartina Arjuna. Even if we get some more high karma, we may go to higher planet and enjoy there. But again, what happens? Come back again to this material world, isn't it? And then Krishna is saying that this material world is completely dukkhalaya. It's always and asashatam. Dukkhalaya means there is full of miseries. Though somehow or other we think that actually enjoyment, but there is no enjoyment. It's always suffering. And even if you're suffering, not only for this life, also you are preparing suffering for the next life as well. Unless and until we take shelter of the Lord, isn't it? That's how this Prahlad Maharaj in the same chapter goes ahead and where he says that Puna Punas Charvita Charavanam. So we are chewing the same chewed, chewing gum, chewing the same chewed for an hour. In the similar way, we are chewing the same thing again and again in this life for millions of life, going from many species, 8.4 million species, sometimes in the higher planet, sometimes in lower, sometimes it goes on. But the real essence here, Prabhupada says that he explains about two more things. He says Grahamedi and Grahastha. He says Apashchatam Atma Greshu Grahamedinam. So Apashchatam Atma Tattvam. Two terms comes is Grahastha and Grahamedi. So when we Grahastha, it means we are having our family, the children and wife, husband. That's a family. And the household member, they should engage themselves, the whole family member, to become Krishna consciousness. That is a bit grahastha. However, if someone is completely engaged for sense gratification, forgetting everything about Krishna consciousness, that's called as graha medhi. So you're not utilizing the proper essence of being household life. That says apasham atma tattvam. If we don't see atma tattva, I mean who am I, then we are in the dark well of this birth and death cycle. So what to do? We need to see who am I. So generally what's happening is we understand ourselves as a body, and then we see everything in relation to the body. So who am I, and what my relatives are, what are the things, and how can I satisfy my own self, my own sense of gratification. At the same time, how can I fulfill the desires of my relatives, and how can I satisfy them? So that is graha medhi. Only considering about myself and my relationships to the body. But as soon as you start seeing who am I, that question comes up, who am I? The soul within our heart, the body is being maintained by the soul, isn't it? If the soul goes out, the body is of no use. So if you realize who am I, and then Prahlad Maharaj is instructing to Hiranyakashipu that you are so much conditioned to this attachment to the material world, to your kingdom and thing. So you should go back. You should go to forest. You should go to forest and then worship. Worship whom? To Vishnu, isn't it? That way you can actually purify our own self, and then we can go back to Godhead. However, then going Vrindavan, Prabhupada explains the last point, saying nicely that one should go to Vrindavan where only Krishna consciousness is prevalent and should thus take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada makes here that everyone should go to Vrindavan. The point is being Hiranyakashipu is being so much engrossed in the material life. He's devoid of Krishna consciousness. He's not at all thinking about Krishna. He's envious of Krishna. He's envious of his devotees. That's why he's being asked to go there. However, what do you think about what you do? Should you Vrindavan and live there, or what shall you do? Any thoughts? So Prabhupada says here that one should go to Vrindavan where only Krishna consciousness is prevalent and should thus take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is basically for a completely materialistic person. So what should a devotee do? Shall he go to Vrindavan and stay there, or what?
Do that for himself. He was more concerned with the fools and rascals. But I have a question about Vrindavan. This is millions of years ago, and we know that Vrindavan existed from 5,000 years ago when Krishna was there. So does Vrindavan exist millions of years before Krishna comes? Does Vrindavan exist for millions of years before Krishna comes? Because this took place millions of years before Krishna, didn't it?
Yeah. So the verse doesn't speak about this Vrindavan. However, Prabhupada has according to the situation. So if we are completely materialistic persons, then we should go to Vrindavan, and then. But the point comes here is what should you do? So when I was seeing this verse, I was thinking about Prabhupada actually is taking us more higher. it's not just only in the Vrindavan which we see in India right now. But Prabhupada actually is making a great point here that by Krishna consciousness, we can actually take ourselves to the Golok Vrindavan, which is the sky. So this is here, and the Bhomali Krishna appeared, and it is pastime. So just to cut down the anxiety of this material world, it cut down the anxiety of this material world and cut down this temporary conception of our body. We should take the path of Krishna consciousness. And if there is a devotee here, if we knew that we have taken the Krishna, now it's our duty not to be residing in the Vrindavan itself, but to go and preach Krishna consciousness. What the same thing Prabhupada has done, isn't it? So Prabhupada was in Brahma, and then he came out. He came out to give Vrindavan to everywhere. And like Tirthi Kruvati Tirthani. So as a devotee goes there, wherever devotees goes, that place becomes Dham itself. So it's responsibility of the devotees now to go out and make each place as Vrindavan. Like we have New Vrindavan, New Mayapur.
Shri almost makes a point in Navaraji Mahima that the Vrindavan manifest and the deities are being worshipped, and as the worship reduces in quality, then the Dharma recedes. Whereas in Vrindavan, even if they don't do the puja properly, it's still the holy Dharma. But if the deities are worshipped nicely, then Navadweep is here, and Brindadevi is Vrindavan.
Yeah, that's nice point. Actually, again, the Dham is where Krishna does the pastimes, and the Dham can be our heart as well. If we can take shelter of the instructions given by our acharyas in parampara, then our heart can become Dham, and there Krishna can reside nicely. And wherever we are, that place can become Dham, isn't it? So as it describes, so Yatra Jayanti Man Bhakta Tatta Tisthami Narada. Krishna says very clearly that wherever devotee chants my name, I am present there. So it's good if we can go to Vrindavan now and just relish something, but it's much better than come back and spread the message to all, isn't it? And anywhere we are, anywhere we remain, if we are in Krishna consciousness, then the place can become Dhamma. There is no doubt in that at all. And that's what Prabhupada did. Prabhupada has went out from Vrindavan, and then he has actually kind of made millions of Vrindavan everywhere in the now. Everywhere you go, you take part in Krishna consciousness, you release your prasad and everything. That becomes Vrindavan. And everyone is somehow other engaged in the Krishna consciousness. So more importantly is, it's not about going to Vrindavan as a place, but more importantly is our consciousness, where we are. We can be here. We can be here and thinking of Vrindavan, but we can be in Vrindavan thinking of here as well. Isn't it? So we can be in Vrindavan, think, okay, what is happening there? Who is in my service now there, and what's happening? So the point is, going there and thinking of something is not recommended. But if we are out, we can think of the place and be there as well. Is Prabhupada saying something?
Yeah, if you finish that point, which is a different question, is that okay? Yeah. Harikashpu was being very affectionate now. So Kandaki was given class the other day, and he said that Harikashpu tried to kill Prahlad 1,000 times. So was this after he tried to kill him 1,000 times, or was this before he started trying to kill him?
So this is not Hiranyakashipu has not been clean now yet. So currently Prahlad is not being sent to school, and now he just came back from school, so he's asking now. So after this only when he'll ask his teachers what he will be teaching about, and then when he knew that more, even if the Sandaka Mata, they tried everything to deviate the mind of Prahlad Maharaj, but they could not. And then they come back and to say Prahlad Maharaj to Hiranyakashipu, that seems like Prahlad is being learning from something else, and we are not touching it. Neither any spy here. It's not about spying. So he thinks that Hiranyakashipu thinks that some spies are inside, and they are teaching Krishna consciousness. Right. So the pastime happens after that. The king
So this is before.
after this.
This is before, right?
Yeah, this is before.
Yeah. So that was one. And another question was, where does it say that Prahlad was Simukha before? Because I heard that he was in the temple and he went in with a prostitute and he swept the ground before. Just for that service, he took birth as a great devotee.
Yeah. So that's also I have heard it, but this I heard from Nrsimha Purana. So Nrsimha Purana will discuss that Prahlad Maharaj was actually a doorkeeper, and he stopped devatas. He stopped devatas saying that okay, and then Krishna says,
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for the class. Couple of questions if time permits. So first, like Bhauma Vrindavan, is it different Goloka Vrindavan?
so no, it's not. It's kind of not different at all. Krishna has came, he manifested this now his pastime. However, so this Bhoma Vrindavan is when Krishna finishes his pastimes, it becomes aloof. We can't recognize those same place as it was earlier, right? So in that context, it's a what difference. The only thing is that when Krishna comes here to pastime, he made a place as well. So all the things like Maharaj and they were all these, yes.
Okay.
Pastimes in earth as Kanamalila.
And is it here Prabhupada Maharaj encouraging like go to Vrindavan? Is it encouraging to materialistic people to go to Vrindavan?
Yes, so this basically Maharaj is saying because what will happen is Hiranyakashipu was completely theistic person, was envious of the Lord. So Maharaj is saying that you go to forest. Hiranyakashipu says Hiranyakashipu asks to go to forest. What? Even if you see in the forest, what people do, it's not about self. Even if people they go to do their to get some wood so that they can sell it, they can live life. Not everyone going to forest is for Krishna consciousness. But especially here, Maharaj is asking Hiranyakashipu to give up your material life and go for self-realization. And Prabhupada explains more. I think it's because of our current condition that you should be taking shelter of Krishna. And Vrindavan is the place where it's more alive and to the Krishna consciousness. Isn't it?
Thank you, Prabhu.
ग्रंथराज भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, वैष्णववृंद की
Jai. His Grace Balesvara Raman Prabhu ki Jai.